so much for clicking on this video. Hope you're having an awesome day. Thank you for taking a few minutes every day to hang out with me. Today's video, I'm super excited because me and Get This Glowing are back doing a Team Up Tuesday. I've missed doing them. She's missed doing them. Life has just been completely crazy right now, but we're back with an exciting video. I did splurge on myself and I'm still in shock that I actually went through with this purchase. It is the Pat McGrath Decadence palette. This palette is $125. Now that is not the most I have spent on a palette, but there's only 10 shades. This formula better be mind-blowing. I am very excited to own my first palette. This one is limited edition. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's the best color story she has put out. She also has like a Mothership 8 that I saw on Trend Mood's page, and I'm like, I kind of want that. There is like one shade that has this really pretty shift to it, and I'm like, I want that palette just for that shade. I know, a little cray-cray, but I have to see what this hype about Pat McGrath is. I have tried Natasha Denona, which is around the same price point. You do get a little bit more shades with her palette, so that's why I'm like, okay, $125. Still a lot, but it's not as bad as buying that palette if I have more to work with than just 10 shades. We're just gonna do a collab video doing a look using this palette. I'm also going to be doing some swatches because I have never, ever touched these shadows before. None of the Sephoras around me carry Pat McGrath. It's online only. If you don't know who Get This Glowing is, you should definitely check her out. She does a lot of videos focusing on mature beauty. I know when I watch her videos, I'm very intrigued what products she's using because I am approaching mature skin. And if you're visiting from her channel, welcome. Thank you so much for checking me out. I hope you subscribe and give this video a like before you leave. So I do have my brows filled in and I already have a foundation on. Hopefully I don't forget to do bronzer, blush, and highlight like I did in a previous video. I couldn't figure out how to get this box backed into, and I was a little afraid with these strings to tie it back in because the last thing I want to do is hold it up and the palette just to fall out, boom, shatter. My heart would break. The packaging, I mean, it's different. I do feel like it's kind of cheap in a way. I mean, I guess like these strings are trying to make it look all nice tied in like a bow, make it look luxurious, make it in an easy standard box. I also think it's kind of tacky to have the shades printed on right here as opposed to in the palette. If you're buying a $125 palette, I mean, Natasha Denona does it for some of her palettes too. Kind of irks me. I don't know, does it matter to you guys if you have your shade names printed on or not? That's how I can kind of identify some palettes that I just love, like Jalapenos from the Glamlight Veggies palette or Bubblegum from Jeffree Star Cosmetics Jawbreaker. I know it's more aesthetic purposes instead of actual product, but then again, I think like brands like Morphe save on some costs of not printing on names, so this bougie brand not having names printed on, then it's kind of like, why are you so expensive then? When I first pulled out this palette and held it, it does feel and look like a gold bar. It is just completely luxurious feelings. It just says PML, time for the big reveal. Ta-da! Oh, I am obsessed with this teal shade, the blue shade, the whole shebang. I've always wanted one of her palettes. There have been like maybe 2 other palettes that have intrigued me with their color story, but this one definitely has my attention, and I'm a little worried if these are all shimmer shades, which is okay. I have done full-blown looks just using shimmer shades, but I feel like a palette like this would be nice to at least have 1 or 2 mattes in it just to help transition and smooth blend things out. I remember being super bummed and pissed when she repackaged this palette in the Star Wars packaging. I wanted it so bad, and I had like the special code to get in. The code wasn't working. By the time the code was working, it was sold out. I was hoping she was gonna do a restock of it. Of course not. Because when some brands say limited edition, it is limited edition. Apparently this palette is limited edition. Maybe it's because it's the best color story she's released, and I was very excited to see that at least in the normal packaging it was coming back. This palette was still on my mind, and I figured if I don't get it now, I'm never gonna get it. It's gonna go away forever, and I'll never know what it's like to have Pat McGrath. Luckily, the names are not backwards because the first shade is called Gold Standard. First, let's do some swatches and kind of get a feel of what these shadows feel like. I'm gonna be very gentle putting my fingers in it. The last thing I want to do is puncture and shatter one of these shades from doing swatches. It has happened before recently in one of the ColourPop palettes I picked up in my Ulta haul. Oh wow, these are gorgeous. I'm in love. Gold Standard, Inferno, Blue Blood, Sinful, Underworld. These are some of the most creamiest shades I've ever swatched. This shade, Sinful, felt maybe it had like a little grit to it. And it just gets better and better. These two shades, Sterling and Lapis Luxury, also had like that grit feeling that Sinful had. That's just something that I've noticed just to the touch of these shades. And this is what the palette looks like swatched. By all means, I don't mean drop what you're doing right now and buy a Pat McGrath palette. And this is definitely a splurge for me, and I just want at least one of her palettes in my collection. I've also heard from some people saying that her palettes are very hit or miss. I forgot to say what the shades were. I just got so warped and mesmerized. But we have Sterling, Lapis Luxury, Divine Mink, Hedonistic, and Enigma. Definitely feel like it might need to be paired with a matte, but we're just gonna create an all shimmer look. I have my eyes primed with the Priming Is Everything by The Balm. I think I'm gonna start off with the shade Underworld. Between that and Lapis Luxury, those are the shades I am most drawn to. Of course, pops of blue. Anytime there's a blue shade, my eyes just get drawn to it. And very lightly, I'm just going to take it right in the crease. This is my Sigma E45 small tapered blending. When I'm putting this on, I feel like it looks just slightly muted. Like it looks more black blue instead of just like that rich blue on the swatch. And this is why I was also saying maybe a matte shade would be really nice, because it does look very sloppy right now. Originally, I wasn't going to dip into any other palette, but I really need a transition shade for this look. So I'm dipping into my Be Perfect Cosmetics Carnival palette and taking the shade Naked right here just to clean things up a bit. I really want to take Lapis Luxury next and put it all over my lid. Let's see how it looks when we add some eyeliner, maybe smoke out the lower lash line, some inner corners, and lashes. Let's take Blue Blood right here, and that's what I'm going to use for the lower lash. And then for the inner corners, I'm going to take Sinful. I'm going to take these, it's 420 Somewhere lashes in combination with the Tarte Big Ego mascara. Quickly want to take some of my Tarte Tartiste Pro Glow palette to bronze, blush, and highlight. And on the lips, I'm going to take my Too Faced Lady Balls. And then I'm going to set the face with the Gerard Cosmetics Slay All Day Setting Spray. This is the final look. I think initially with this eye look, it started off a little bit rough, and I think it was just trying to get used to her formula. The first initial shade that I took was Underworld, and it looks very nice in blue in the pan, and on my eye it translated more blue-gray, almost like a black. So I was a little confused how it was translating from the pan and the swatch onto the eye. And then when I cleaned it up with the Be Perfect Carnival palette, I did feel a little bit better because it was just a mess. And I think it was because I was trying to get that blue to build up really nice. Therefore, I just made my eye look very, very messy. Having a matte I felt was very important, and originally that wasn't my intent in this video. I strictly wanted to use this palette, but I think it showed how valuable one matte could at least be for this palette, and that's something that is definitely lacking. I was a little surprised how Lapis Luxury showed up. It was so beaming on the swatch, and it's kind of hidden in my eyes. I know I have lashes on and my eyes are hooded, so it is going to be harder to see, but it's not as popping. It definitely felt a little bit muted. My favorite shade that performed was Blue Blood on the lower lash line. I felt like that was the best shade that translated from the swatch pan to the lower lash. And then Sinful is just stunning in the inner corners. I definitely enjoyed this look a lot more when I added the lashes on. That's something I've been on the fence about. Like, I haven't really been that big of a lash person until recently, and now that I've been practicing and getting more comfortable with them, I feel almost naked without them. I never ever thought that would ever happen, but these lashes have become some of my favorite. I have used them in a couple of looks. I think they just really bring looks together. I feel like for me, this is definitely going to be more of a collector's item. I don't really find it going to be that practical in use unless if I pair it with some other palettes. I think that this palette provides so many beautiful shades to be placed on the lid in the inner corners. I know for me, I rather prefer to use a matte in the crease, and when I was trying to blend it out like a matte shade in the crease, it just wasn't working out for me and what I wanted to achieve. I just had to have one Pat McGrath palette in my collection. I always feel a little guilty recommending some products because of how expensive they can be, especially something like this. Like, I don't really see the average consumer really splurging $125 on a palette. There are just so many options out there. ColourPop, you can get a 9pan palette, which is one shade less than this, for $12. I am glad that I did pick it up and try the formula for myself. I guess I was just in shock when the one shade wasn't working out for me, and then once I got it together, I felt a little bit more comfortable because I definitely felt like, wait, what did I just spend my money on? In the end, I really do enjoy it. Want to try a couple more looks with it just to see. Naked from Be Perfect came in and saved the day. Otherwise, I probably would have just written off this palette of a waste of money. It still makes me want to get her new release that's upcoming, but then again, it's just like I have one of her palettes, and that kind of just satisfies the need of having Pat McGrath in the collection. I would love to know if you guys own anything from Pat McGrath, and if you have tried any of her eyeshadow palettes, how was your experience with them? Was it a hit? Was it a miss? Did you run into any issues, or did everything work out just fine? And do you think it's worth $125? Don't forget to check out Get This Glowing to see her looks and what her thoughts are on the Decadence palette. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and if you don't, I appreciate your view anyways, and I'll see you in the next video.